What's up, world? Back again with another video. In this video, I want to talk about the flatbed game. Yes, the flatbed game. Obviously, I'm not in the flatbed anymore, but I had my fair share of experience in a flatbed, and I just want to bless those that are out there with the little knowledge that I have. I ain't gonna say I got all the knowledge. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, but I've been through a lot in the flatbed game. That was my first job out of CDL school, so I went through the trenches from the jump in the flatbed game. Therefore, I'm gonna give y'all 5 tips on how to survive in a flatbed game. 5 tips on how to survive in a flatbed game, coming from yours truly. So, first and foremost, I'm gonna need y'all to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you watching this video, man, what is you doing? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go back, watch some of my previous videos. Leave a comment, tell me how you feel about it. Y'all already know the scope. So, my 5 tips on how to survive in the flatbed game. My first tip is be mentally prepared for the physical aspect of flatbed. What I mean by that, flatbed isn't a cakewalk. Flatbed, you're going to be getting on top of the trailer. You're going to be tarping. You're going to be strapping down. You're going to be chaining down your material. It's a lot of physical work when it comes to flatbed. So make sure you're mentally prepared to do something physical every day. And with that being said, you got to make sure that you're taking proper precautions when you're doing those physical things. Like waking up in the morning, stretching, making sure you're getting your proper amount of rest so your body can recoup and heal. Because you're going to be doing a lot of active work. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure you're physically ready for what the flatbed game brings to the table. Because it ain't easy, I'll tell you that much. It's definitely not easy. It's going to be a lot of work. So just make sure you're prepared for the physical part of flatbed. My number 2, rain, sleet, snow, you got to get the dough. It ain't no, oh, it's raining outside, I can't, nah. If it's raining outside, you still got to tarp. If it's snowing out, you still have to tarp. If it's snowing out, you still have to chain up that material. If it's raining out, you still have to throw those straps and secure those straps. So make sure you're prepared for all 4 seasons when it comes to the flatbed, because you can't take days off talking about it's raining or it's snowing, things like that. No, you still got to get out there. So you got to make sure that you're ready for any and every type of weather, because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? A flatbed ain't like hooking and dropping, man. Like, you know, you can get away with, oh man, I'm gonna chill for a little minute, or shoot, I'm gonna just hook up real quick and be back in my truck within like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? From just coupling up. Like, nah, you can't. It's not gonna be that easy, because you're gonna couple and it's gonna take you about 5 minutes to couple up. But it may take you about 30-45 minutes to strap that load down, and you got to be prepared for that. So make sure that you're ready for all 4 seasons. My number 3 tip in the flatbed game. Number 3, y'all. Make sure you have the proper gear for all 4 seasons. That's key. Make sure you have multiple pair of shoes. Make sure you have some boots. Make sure you have some rain boots. Make sure you have a good amount of undergarments. Make sure you have a good amount of shirts, good amount of pants. Make sure you keep a couple of raincoats and a couple of jackets. When it comes to the clothes, you can get away with, not having a jacket, like a big jacket, because of the cold in the winter. Because obviously you're not going to need a coat for the summertime or anything like that. So, you can get away with when it comes to the clothes to a certain extent, but you're going to need a few undergarments. You're going to need some shirts, because you're going to be out there in that heat, and it's going to be very hot, and you're going to be throwing those straps. You're going to be in that sun. You're going to sweat out a couple of shirts. So make sure you have the proper amount of clothing for all 4 seasons. Number 4, make sure you have extra equipment. That's extra straps. That's extra edge protectors. Make sure you have an abundance amount of extra material or extra tools when you're operating in a flatbed game. That means you want to have some tools. You want to have some extra edge protectors. You want to have extra straps. That's the 4 inches and the 2 inches straps. You want to make sure you just have a good amount, because one, you just never know. Those straps, they can tear, and everybody know if those straps are torn, you can't operate as far as DOT. You can't throw those straps. You can't tighten that load down with those straps when those straps are torn. So you're going to need those extra straps. You're going to need those extra edge protectors. Things like that. So make sure you have that. Make sure you just keep a good amount of tools. You have a tool set. Maybe times where, you might have to unscrew something. You just never know. So, you just always be prepared when it comes to flatbed, because like I said, it's a lot of physical work. Make sure you have that winch winder. You don't want to be just cranking those straps, man, just by hand and stuff. My second trainer, shout out to my boy, but I don't know if he did have winch winders or not, but I didn't see any when I was training with him, and we were just tightening those straps down with our hands. Bro, my forearms were burning so bad every day from just winding up those straps. Definitely a good workout, but trust me, you don't want to do that every day, all day. So make sure you have a winch winder as well. Therefore, you can wind those straps up. A lot of people, they may have a drill. That helps as well, That actually be the quickest way to wind up those straps. But, you can go on Amazon and get you a winch winder, and, you can wind those straps up, man, and get it done. But make sure you have a winch winder as well. Make sure you have a little tool set. Make sure, you got a good amount of straps. Everything that you would need as far as like chains and stuff, make sure you just have a few extra ones, because you just never know in flatbed. And I know that may just sound, like a little basic, like you just never know, but no, trust me, it's a lot of situations where, stuff goes missing, or, I don't know, bro. Just keep it. It's hard to explain, but those that are in the flatbed game, they know what I'm talking about. Things just happen. Sometimes you may just be moving too fast and forget to collect all your edge protectors. And then if you only take 20, then you might leave 5. You may go to your next load and it may require 25. You know what I mean? And you just lost 5, so it'll just kind of put you in a bad predicament. Therefore, just always keep a little bit extra. My number 5 tip, and this is the most important one, in my opinion. My number 5 tip, make sure you do load checks frequently. Like, do your first load check after the first 25 miles. And in my opinion, after that, every 100 miles, just do a quick load check. Some may say do it every 150 miles. In my opinion, every 100 miles, do a load check. Just check, just make sure. You know what I mean? Just make sure everything back there is good. It don't have to be a long one. Just go out there, touch on the straps, feel the chains. You know what I mean? Make sure your tarp is on right, it's not flapping. And you can pay attention to those things when you're driving as well. But at the same time, in my opinion, every 100 miles, go and do that load check for me, fam. Just do that. Do that for me. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to be that guy that have a PVC pipe fly off your trailer and it goes through somebody's window or something like that. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that person where something falls off and it can hurt someone. So I would just check as frequently as possible. My opinion, every 100 miles, you good. But you may feel in your heart that, I'm going to do it every 50 miles, or, you may do it every 100 miles, but then you may have went down a road and you hit a big bump and it might have shifted something on the back of the trailer. So I'm going to go down and check the load just to make sure everything back there is good, because that was a big bump and, I just want to make sure everything good. You might have had to, make a hard stop and it might have shifted some things forward. So I'm going to go and check my tarp, make sure my straps are still tight and everything is good. So it's very important to do those load checks and not just strap everything down, chain everything down, make sure everything is right, and then keep it going. And then don't stop until you get to your destination. Like, nah, man, go down check that load, man. Go down check it. Make sure everything is good, because if anything falls off that trailer and it hurts somebody, you're going to prison. Like, you're not about to, you're not going to jail or anything. Like, that's a federal offense. So, you got to keep that in mind. Like, man, look, my life is dependent on this. You know what I mean? It could be, even if it doesn't hurt anybody, like, you can lose your job. You can possibly lose your CDL and, have to go down a different route. So you want to make sure that load is secured and it's good to go. And like I say, every 100 miles, that's what I used to do. Every 100 miles, I'll do it the first 25, and then after that, 100. After that, every 100 miles, and I'll be straight. I never had anything fall off my trailer or anything like that. You know what I mean? And I was always good when it came to securing the load. But you got to make sure you check that load and you do load checks. So those are my top 5 flatbed tips when it comes to you all that are trying to jump into this flatbed gang and you just don't know what to look forward to. You know what I mean? Those are my top 5. And hopefully y'all take what I've told you and you run with it. And you get in that flatbed gang and you go. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm so glad I started off doing flatbed, because I got that experience. And flatbed in itself is like another skill within the CDL. Like, yeah, we are professional drivers. Yeah, we can operate a truck and trailer, but it's a different level. It's a different skill when you drive flatbed. because you got to learn how to chain stuff. You got to learn how to strap stuff down. You got to learn how to tarp. You know, those are things that you have to learn within the CDL umbrella. So, you know what I mean? For those that are out here that are interested in doing flatbed, go ahead and do it if that's what you led to do, and take advantage of that opportunity. And most importantly, just stay safe and make sure you take my 5 tips and you take it to heart. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man. Y'all stay safe out here. Y'all make sure y'all stay safe. Keep trucking and always utilize your gifts.